I'll just share my screen. It's not showing in the subscriptions also. 1 minute.
No. That's what I am saying. You need to switch the subscription
And
by.
I did that also. I got two subscriptions. One is the one which we initially created, right? Like the time we had
Else you share your screen. First, you confirm
I'm,
me. You
I'm doing
confirm
that.
me this email is correct, Chiranjeevi.
That's correct.
M,
For
M dot
m.a.chiranjeevi, yeah,
Chiranjeevi Hot.
m.a.chiranjeevi@hotmail.com. That's right.
Okay.
1 minute.
Then you share your screen.
1 minute. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's loading. Give me a minute. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, I see it in the I see only two
No, I
actually.
need
This is the
you
one
to.
which I have created. This is
By
the old
default,
one.
it will not come here, Chiranjeevi. So you need to accept the invitation, which you might
I
have
didn't receive
received.
actually. I just checked my inbox actually. I didn't receive any invitation over there. Last time I remember I did that, but this time I didn't receive any invitation. Yesterday also you
Oh,
told me, right? I just checked again. I didn't
that's
receive
fine.
it.
Can you open your mailbox?
1 minute. Yeah, I have it with me. Um, 13th.
Can you search your mailbox with the keyword
I,
what
I'm, I'm,
sent?
I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Yeah, I think I'm good now. Yeah, I got that actually. The problem is I had set this multi-factor authentication because Hotmail is like Outlook account, right? So it was stuck out the approval from my end actually. Yeah.
That's what I mean to say. Now you have an
Yeah.
access.
Yes. I got it.
Oh,
Because yesterday I saw the email, but it went. It's sitting in my. I have this app actually, Microsoft Authenticator. It got stuck over there. I didn't approve it from my end. Okay, I got it now. Thank you.
okay, fine. Hi Shiva, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. So from a previous session, any questions, guys, you'd like to bring in before having today's session? Okay. So let me give a recap what we have discussed in the previous session. So we have talked about mainly into key vaults as a service. So key vaults is nothing but it does helps in safeguarding our keys, usernames and password. That is nothing but secrets as well as your certificates. So these secrets, usernames and passwords can be securely can be accessed, right, from your Azure services by adding from access policies. Even from application you want to access or an administrator you want to manage, your ID or application ID should be part of the access policies to allow the connection. Yesterday we have seen that how to add an access policy, right? And later on we have talked about logic apps. So logic apps is nothing but an integration services which has been providing by Microsoft Azure. So this particular service, it does help you to integrate any kind of a two platforms. Right, it's not only two platforms, multiple platforms. You can integrate and design your own workflow. Right, for this, typically it requires separate expertise kind of workflow designers, Azure Logic App designers, separate category altogether. They will be designing the workflows and very kind of a bigger workflows for the basis of your business requirement. Right. What we have discussed is just kind of an understanding. If someone is referring to Logic App, so I am expecting you guys to speak about and get to know about the service. All right, on a high level. And as part of previous session, which two platforms we have integrated in the previous session? We have integrated Twitter as in one platform, and then other platform the design what we have made is that whenever there is a tweet based on our own search criteria with the hashtag and with the respective person, we want to search that entire my Twitter feed and send me an email, right, with my requested account. So that part we have seen by integrating email service as well as Twitter platform integration, right? So as part of today's session, we're going to talk about Azure Service Bus. So Azure Service Bus is nothing but is a messaging service in Azure. So you ever heard of the solutions called Kafka, Confluent, right? These are all kind of a messaging services which are there in the market. Azure has its own proprietary service that is Azure Service Bus. When it comes to Azure Service Bus, we have queues, topics, and relays. It means three different categories of services which does is available at Service Bus namespace. When I click on this, queues, for example, if you want to make use of a queues as your messaging service, it is only one directional. It means there is a sender, there is a receiver. Your queues in between works as a broker, right? It will be one to one. Are you able to see this diagram? There is a sender, queues will be in the middle, take the message, keep the message, and deliver to the receiver. It's a one-on-one message. Okay, queues will work as a broker. And how long this particular messages to be there, time to live, the things and all other stuff, we can customize those values. Right, let's say you want to maintain last 2 weeks of messages, 1 week of messages, 1 day of messages. So you can decide those configurations, but at a large scale, this does just helps in forwarding or saving your messages and sending it to one receiver. It's a one-on-one communication. Queues, it does function as a broker in this particular scenario. Is it clear, guys, how queues will function? And theoretical note, we'll see how to create a service bus namespace. We'll also want to create a queues as well. So for the business requirement, how you can create a queues, how you need to deliver it, how your application is going to authenticate, all those things we're going to discuss practically. Right. Next thing is topics. So topics refers to, it is also one directional communication only, but here it will deliver to one to many. Topics also works as a broker, whereas there will be one sender. The messages can be delivered to the topics. Topics will send those messages to the multiple recipients. The multiple recipients, how they will get the messages? By giving the filter mechanism. Let's say here sender is sending a messages. The messages are there in topic. If you could see first subscriber, that's nothing but first receiver, is receiving a messages with the filter. Seller name is equal to Ava. Your message is delivering to subscriber 1. Got it? Second filter is seller is equal to Reby and amount is greater than a lakh. Then your message is going to deliver it subscriber 2. Third is filter mechanism is true. For example, that messages will be delivered to subscriber 3. So here sender will be 1, The message communication also is one directional communication. Only difference from queues and topics is topics can deliver your messages to the multiple recipients based on the customized filter mechanism. Clear? Third one is relay. So relays is not like your queues and tables, right? It is not works as your queues and topics typically. This will be bidirectional. It means sender, receiver can both the ways they could send and receive the messages, and it will not store any kind of messages in a store, right? It's not works as a broker. If you could see these messages, right? It just forward your message. That's it. It will not hold any kind of a message, but it is bidirectional. It's not an unidirectional, it is a bidirectional communication. So sender to receiver, receiver to sender, right? Anyway, you can transfer your messages, but it will not store like your topics and queues. And it also not works as a broker. It is just a forwarding your messages to the recipient to sender. Clear, guys, with these three topics? Service bus namespace have three categories: queues, topics, and relays. Queues will be used for one directional communication, and it will be sender to one sender, one recipient only. It will just store your messages and send it. Topics also similar to queues only, but here one sender can send the messages to multiple subscribers based on the filter mechanism. And then third one is relays. Relays will send messages from both the sides of bidirectional communication, sender to receiver, receiver to sender. One major difference is it is not working as a broker. It is not holding any of the messages. It just forward the messages to the respective destination. Yeah. Any questions, guys, still here?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm just navigating the Azure portal, creating a service name called Service Bus, right? Service Bus Namespace. The first one. I click on Create. So I'm just creating a resource group, AZT27-RG. Name, if you could see here also, our name should be unique one, because again, your service bus namespace is a platform as a service. It is publicly accessible. This particular service can be used by using public URL, that is servicebus.windows.net is a public URL ends with. So whatever the name, if you just give here as a test, for example, it will say that this particular name is not valid because someone else might have already been used it. So I'm just naming this AZT27. So it is requiring minimum of AZ training 27. So this is the name I was just been given. So it has been in a queue. It was considered it. When it comes to real time also, make sure what are the naming convention your project is follow. Definitely it is not going to give a conflict. Yeah, that will be seamless. Location, as I mentioned, you can choose based on your application services where those are all running. Accordingly, you can choose. So I'm just choosing West US and any kind of location when it comes. When it comes to pricing tier, right? So there is a difference, kind of a basic, standard, and a premium tiers. All these plans, right, will get differ only with the messaging sizes and number of messages it does transfer. If you could see here under basic tier, it is supported only the size of your message up to 256 KB only. And if you are creating with this one, it is only creates queues only. You cannot make use of it for your topics. If you do the second one, right, here they are giving you with the $10 is the pricing tier, whereas it does support for queues and topics, but they are operating you like 12.5 million operations per month. right? If you're crossing this, then your price will get be varied. And these two plans of basics and standard does not support geo replication. It means whenever there is a disaster happens in the primary region, right? These two plans will not support. You need to choose the premium plan only. But if you see the premium plan supported size is around 1 MB, 1024 KB. Your messaging size does support of your 1024 size of a message. It does support, and there is no kind of an it's a fixed cost. $668 is a fixed in cost, right? And there is no limitation for your number of messages. You can send how many number of millions of messages. There is no cost for you. And the greatest advantage here, it does support on a DR scenario. It means you can enable the geo replication similar to your storage account from one physical region. Let's say I'm creating in a West US2, East US2. I can create a geo replication towards the West Europe. So that something went bad with the US region, your right Europe based service of service bus will continue to give the service. But only matter here is the problem with the cost. If you could see how much you are getting this basic and standard tier, hardly with the maximum cost of $10. Here it is, if you could see, it is going to $668 around. It is typically how many number of percent it has been extra cost. It is more than 600 times of an extra cost or 60 times of an extra cost. Correct? One time, two times is some kind of an affordable pricing, but when it's 60 times of your current cost, it is not obvious to select. So make sure when you are selecting the service bus namespace pricing tier, do not select this premium unless it is really necessary. Clear, guys? So most of the scenarios you can go with the standard tiers are pretty much cheaper. Standard networking. As I mentioned, this is available only with the premium tier only, whereas you can assign private IP address to your service bus namespace. We'll call as a private endpoint that will be not supported in the standard tier. It support only premium tier. A review. It is just validating. Yeah, validation is completed. So deployment is starting. The creation of service bus namespace won't take much time. It will be quick enough. Able to follow, guys, what we have been doing about service bus namespace? Any questions till now? Okay, so the service got created. So What is your job now as being an administrator? So you need to create a service bus namespace. You need to share him the host name. So host name is nothing but URL of your service bus namespace, that is Azure Training 27.servicebus.windows.net. Along with that, you need to share the credentials. Are you able to see here? Shared access policies. So by default, shared access policy claims it can manage, send, and listen the messages. It means full permissions by default. It does have some keys. Are you able to see there is a primary key, there is a secondary key, connection string, and primary and secondary connection strings are available. So you need to copy these keys and connection strings and share it with your developer team. So post which, if at all you want to control the permissions also, you want to give a key only for sending one key, receiving one separate key, you can create it actually. So you can say that only, let's say it's a send message. And then I want to give a permission of only sending the permission, click on create. So what will happen? It is again going to create of your messaging keys, primary key, secondary key, primary connection string, secondary connection string. For example, if you're sharing this particular details with your developers, what will happen? With these keys, he can only send the messages. If you want to listen the messages, he cannot do it. Got the point? Like this, if you want to customize the permissions, what you have been sharing with your developers, that is also can be done. Now, this is what the option I'm referring to, geo replication. So by default, your geo replication will not be available. It is available only with the premium. Premium is costlier solution. Make sure it is really necessary for your business. Okay. And if at all we want to migrate to the premium, currently we are in a standard tier. If you want to migrate to the premium tier, you can click on this and get started so that you can migrate it. That will happen automatically. And queues. So your developers will give you the name of the queues. Let's say he will give an email service. He will give an SAP service. He will give integration service. So whatever the name, if he does give it to you, so you need to use the particular naming convention. Let's say it's an email service. It's created with email service. Right? The max queue size. So how long you want to maintain how many messages? If maximum is supported by 5 GB, I'm going with the 1 GB as a training purpose. I'm not going to use it typically. And when it comes to real time, if the messages are huge in size, they want to store more number of days. Here you could see a time to leave settings, a delivery count also 10. So it can deliver at a time 10 messages to the recipient, and messages time to live. It means after 14 days with the settings, what will happen, guys? Messages will be automatically disappear from the queue, but it will maintain for 14 days to send it to the receiver. And log duration, whenever it's sending a message, it will maintain 30 seconds of a log duration. So these configuration, auto delete and idle queue, duplicate detections, dead letterings, partitioning sessions, queues, topics, and other stuff. So these settings will be given by your developers. Typically, we cannot take a decision. So it depends on application behavior as well. So these are all configuration items. Your developer will give you the details, how long they want to maintain, what is the time to live settings, delivery count, how many messages, did they want to detect the duplicate messages and delete them, and all other stuff. So this configuration item they will give it. But being an administrator, you just need to create a queues and share the details with the team. If you click on this service, it will tell you. So what is your size? How many messages are you able to see here? Message counts, active, how many messages, scheduled, how many, dead lettering, how many messages transferred. All those data you will be having. Here you could see the statistics as well in the graph, how many messages has been forwarded and how many messages has been sent, all those things. Clear, folks? Any questions about service bus namespace? How to create, what all different kinds we have, how to manage, what are the details you need to share with your developers. Is that understanding is clear Any further questions you have? Venkat, Chiranjeevi, Shiva, able to follow?
Yes,
Shall I
sir.
move ahead to the different concept?
So to share those keys, right? So do we need to create the service bus namespace, right?
Yeah, so this is typically when there's a requirement of they want to use it for a queues in the application.
Mm-hmm.
So they will request you, if they doesn't know, they will ask you what is the messaging services available in Azure. You need to guide them to, we have a service bus namespace, inside which they will ask you to create you the queues. If they want to use 20 different queues, they will ask you to create this 20 different queues. So service is available. You created the queues. Now application has to have a authentication and authorization, right? It is not like everyone will come and connect to the service bus. For that, you need to share them a host name, can be known by anyone, but this keys will be secured enough, right? These keys can be whoever is having this key with the right set of privileges, only those queues will work. If this particular keys is not correct, your messages will not send or receive because you don't have a permission to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If there is no further questions, let me move to the next concept. That is your backup. So what we will discuss today, tomorrow, and next 3-4 sessions typically we'll talk about backup and disaster recovery. First 2 sessions, typically today and tomorrow, will completely dedicated to the backup as an operation. So when it comes to backup, right, it is Azure has an inbuilt a solution to back up your virtual machines. Right, initially we talked about virtual machines, right, as part of our training session. So those virtual machines, Azure has an in-house solution. We'll call it as a recovery services vault. What is the name of it? It's a recovery services vault. So what is the advantage of using Azure provided backup? So you might have seen so many backup solutions out there in the market, right? When it comes to Azure, so Azure has its own backup solution, and we are going to discuss what are the advantages by using Azure backup solution, right? Theoretically, we'll discuss backup, and immediately today's session itself, we're going to create and enable the backup as well for one of the virtual machine. And tomorrow we'll see how to restore that virtual machine. What are the different kinds of restoration methods we do have? All those things we will discuss. Okay. So when it comes to backup, automatic storage management, it means when we are selecting recovery services vault in Azure, the storage management where our data is being stored, backup, when you're taking a backup, somewhere it does store, no? That understanding is there, right? Correct. Somewhere you need to store the backup data. So that backend storage management will be completely taken care by Microsoft. And second option is unlimited scaling. It means you no need to worry at all. Today, you are taking a backup of 10 virtual machines. Tomorrow, your business want to take a backup of 100 virtual machines. Day after tomorrow is 200 virtual machines. That scaling in the backend, we no need to worry at all. It's unlimited. There is no restriction that you need to take a backup of only 10 VMs, 20 VMs, 100 VMs. No limitation. It's unlimited. Third option is multiple storage options. So when I say the multiple storage options, right, these multiple storage options is nothing but our storage concepts, what we have discussed. Do you remember we have talked about LRS, GRS, right? What LRS will do, it will maintain 3 copies in the local data center. GRS will maintain 3 copies in local, 3 more copies in different geographic location. So these combination of LRS and GRS, where your data is been storing in the backend, that is also possible using multiple storage options. That feature also available. Unlimited data transfer. So when you're restoring the data, when you're taking the backup, so there will be data transfer will happen. There is no charges or limitation for that, say. So unlimited data transfer. Data encryption. So the data which has been storing at Azure data center, Azure storage blob in the backend, that is encrypted by default, so that it is secure that someone else cannot come and access it. Application consistent backup. So whenever it is initiating, it's going to take a backup of your virtual machine. It will make sure that it's an application consistent. It means it will make sure to complete the transactions, running transactions in your application. Once it is complete, then only it will initiate the backup, so that there is no running operations is missing in your backup. Last option is long-term retention. So when it comes to long-term retentions, right, this long-term retention, nothing but like how long you can maintain your backup. Let's say today we are taking a backup of one virtual machine, right? That one virtual machine, if something went bad with the virtual machine, let's say there's a configuration mismatch, there is a corruption, and you have done the misconfiguration. Finally, your data been lost or your application is down. You know that yesterday, same scenario, your virtual machine is good with the configuration. You want to go back to the previous state. So that is called retention. So how long you want to maintain the retention? You want to maintain it for a month, 2 months, 12 months, 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, 20 years. Right? That is the retention period. So here Azure does support you the retention period of 19 years. What does it mean, guys? For example, you are enabling a backup by today, you can able to recover that backup data by 99 year as well. Typically will be not alive. Yeah, that is a feature it does support. Maximum, that's why it's one of the proprietary kind of an retention period is providing by Microsoft Azure, long-term retention with the 99 years. Is it clear, folks? Any questions with the feature set what we have discussed about backup?
No, sir.
Okay. So now what I will do, I will navigate to the Azure portal. To take a backup, first we need one virtual machine, correct? Second, we'll create recovery services vault and then see how to enable the backup. Okay. Create a resource, Windows Server 2019 data center. AZT27 RG, I'm using the same one. So let's say this VM01. Location is I need to select wherever I am having free services are available. So I'm just selecting West US2 where I'm having free services. Rest all details, I'm not much worried. So I'm just selecting the size 2, 4 and 8 GB. So all these details, I believe you are clear with that. Virtual machine creation. So I'm not discussing any other details here. So I was just directly creating a VM out of it. It's running the validation. Click on create. So if possible, same exercise, I need you guys also do it anytime today of creating a VM, enabling the backup, because tomorrow's session, when it comes to restoration, one virtual machine will not sufficient for us to see to all the use cases of restoring methods. Right? If you have having two virtual machines, there's a 4 types of restoration methods we have. and we could cover all 4 of them if possible. Yeah. If not, I will create it myself. Now we are having a virtual machine and we need to create a resource name called backup and site recovery. This is the service name. All right, click on create. But you could see the type of a service once after the creation. You could see it name as a recovery services vault. Are you able to see what you are creating? But while you are searching, you need to search with the backup and site recovery. But the actual resource name is a recovery services vault. So the resource group I'm selecting existing one. So creation of it's pretty much easy. AZT27. I'm just giving a name, right? It's pretty much easy that you just provide a name and a region. That's it. No configurations on it. So we are creating on West US2, correct? The virtual machine is getting creating where? On a West US2. So your one important thing to remember, you cannot take a backup of a virtual machine from a different region. Wherever you have virtual machines are running in the same region, you should create your recovery services vault as well. So creation of a recovery services vault is pretty much easy and straightforward. Just provide name and a region and then go ahead and create it. Click on create. So now my backup and recovery services vault is getting created. It is just validating. It won't take much in time. So now we could see that your recovery services vault has been created. Now let's go ahead and configure the backup for the virtual machines. So one important thing is to remember is that there is a settings, default settings of your your recovery services vault, right? That needs to be reviewed before enabling the backup for your virtual machines, because once you enable the backup for your virtual machines, you cannot change those settings. So make sure you are enabling this properties. Click on the backup configuration update. So by default, what is the option it got enabled here? What is the storage replication type it is enabled in the backend?
Geo redirect.
Geo redundant. It means what will happen when you are having 100 GB of a data, you are paying for $10 with a geo redundant. How much amount you will pay for it? You are going to pay double the cost, correct? Because you are maintaining 3 copies in local, 3 more copies in different geographic location. It is a cost involved solution of using geo replication, guys. Make sure, right, you are being reviewed this, whether it's really needed for your business, whether it's really critical for your business, make sure and design. Otherwise, go with LRS, because once after you've been enabled it, it is not possible to disable or change these options. Are you able to see? This option cannot be changed after protecting items, right? So make sure the option is choosing correctly and wisely. Click on save. So I'm just changing to geo replication. Geo replication will be geo redundant will be default setting. You need to review it. If it's needed, keep it. If not, change it back to local redundant so that my cost will come to half of it. Otherwise, I need to pay double the cost if it's really not necessary, might be for my business. Right? There is security settings as well, which need to discuss. By default, there is an option of enabling a soft delete. So what will happen with the soft delete enabled? We discussed this option for a storage, for a key vault. What it will do, if you are deleting some option accidentally, for example, right? If you want to recover the deleted item, so such cases you could enable this soft delete option. That is the advantage and use case of it. Okay. Clear, guys? So if at all it's needed, you can enable it. Otherwise, you could go ahead and disable them if it's not needed. These are two settings. I just want to give you an information, right, before enabling the backup to your virtual machines. So before enabling the backup of your virtual machines, let's say you could see a backup, site recovery, backup items, replicated items, backup policies, site recovery infrastructure, backup jobs, site recovery jobs. Like that, you have two categories. One is to take a backup. This does help you if you are having any misconfiguration within the operating system, right? You want to make sure to recover that as and when it's needed. Backup will be helpful. Site recovery is the solution. It does help you when there is a disaster happens to your primary region. It means entire data center is down. How you can bring up the secondary location of same virtual machine. That is a disaster recovery. So today and tomorrow we'll concentrate on backup, and subsequently we'll also talk about disaster as well. So first, to enable the backup, you need to click on the backup items. Sorry, backup, getting started backup, and then we'll come back to backup items. Click on backup. It will ask you where is your workloads are running. In my scenario, my virtual machine is running in Azure. So here, if you are not running in Azure, if you're running in Azure Stack as a private cloud on premises, let's say your virtual machines are running in on premises data centers, and you want to take a backup of Azure virtual machines. Right? If you are running your virtual machine on-premises data center, you want to take a backup using Azure Recovery Services Vault. So in such cases, you can go with the on-premises setup. So in our case, my virtual machine is running in Azure. In Azure, these are all supported backup services. Virtual machine, you can take a backup. Azure file share. Do you remember in a storage account, we have blobs, file shares, tables, and queues. It does support your file share to take a backup. SQL Server running in Azure VM. It means SQL database, MS SQL database also can be taken, which is running in a VM. SAP HANA also is running a database running in a VM. These are all four types of supported items in Azure. So in my case, I want to take a backup of which service, guys? I want to take a backup of virtual machine. So I was selected my workloads is running in Azure. The kind of workloads in Azure is virtual machine. Click on backup. As soon as you click on backup, it will ask you to create a policy, right? So if you could see that there's a default policy already been created. This is a default policy. If you could see that with the default policy, what will happen? It is daily 8 a.m. UTC. So if you don't want to go with the UTC, you can also select the IST also, for example. So, and then you can select the time frame when you want to run the backup. Instant recovery, 2 snapshots. So what it means is that whenever you want to recover the last 2 days of recovery, right, it will happen very fast. Instead of last 10 days of a data, if you want to recover, that takes time. So like that, how many number of a days quick instant recovery you are looking at? That is 2 by default, right? Let's say I want to apply this policy for my development virtual machines. This is not critical for me, right? That's why I just mentioned dev VM policy. And I want to take a backup. What is the recommended time to take a backup, guys? Any idea? The recommended schedule to take a backup is non-business hours. Assume that your service is using in India and you are enabling the backup time zone in India. Select the time frame the less business hours. What could be the less business hours, guys, for us? Let's say I'm selecting 1 a.m. It means midnight 1 a.m. I'm considering that I don't have much traffic or much usage. So that time, at that particular time, I will initiate my backup for my virtual machines. Clear? Right? And then retention by default daily backup is enabled 30 days. So you can enable how many number of a days you'd like to. Similarly, if you want to maintain apart from daily backups, it means daily it will take a backup of your virtual machine. We have weekly backup. It means you can decide on which day in a week you want to take a backup. Let's say I want to take a backup of every week Saturday, midnight 1 a.m. and I want to maintain that backup for 12 weeks. It means around every week it will maintain one copy till 12 weeks. If it comes to 13th week, what will happen? First week of data will go away automatically. So that at any point in time, how many weeks of a data I do have? I will be having 12 weeks of a data. This is called retention period. How long you are maintaining your data. Similarly, apart from daily, weekly, you have an option to enable it for monthly backup also. So I can decide at what in a week. Let's say I'm selecting last Saturday of every month, right? Whatever the last Saturday in every month, midnight 1 a.m. take a backup, maintain it, let's say for 12 months. It means for 1 year, every month, last Saturday, midnight 1 a.m., it will take a backup and keep it. So that if something went wrong with my entire year, monthly basis, I'm maintaining one copy. So this, if you don't want to do it on a week basis, you have a dial day based as well. It means you can select which date in a month, 31st date, 31 days are available. No, I'm just selecting, let's say every month, 25th, I want to take a backup. I can say that 25th of every month, 1 a.m. in the midnight, take a backup. Okay. Similarly, for an yearly backup. So you can decide on which day you want to take or which week also. January, every year, January 1st or last or middle, I can select last Sunday or Saturday, whichever the day you would like to. I'm just deciding here every year, January, last Saturday, take a backup and maintain it for 10 years. It's a default policy. So what is the maximum that support, guys? Up to 99 years you can maintain this. Every year it will take one backup copy and that copy is maintained for how many days? 99 years. Is it clear, guys, what is mean by retention? What are all the different kinds of retention we have with Azure? Any questions with this retention policy? Chiranjeevi, Venkat, Siva, able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm disabling my weekly, monthly, yearly backups because I don't need it for a training purpose. So real time, you can have multiple policies can be created. So here it is dev VM policy. When it comes to real time scenario, you can have n number of policies. Each VMs you can decide each category of a policy and then assign. That is typically possible. Clear? Now let's go ahead and add a virtual machine. Let's say my VM01 I'm considering as a development virtual machine. So I want to use dev policy to be applied for my development virtual machines. I don't see any VMs has been discovering here. Okay. So I'm just coming back, checking that where is my VM is got created. 27 RG, West US2. This is also West US2. Recovery services West US2. So it should recognize. Might be the page has to be refreshed. Let me see. AZT27 backup, enable the backup. So this is where I could decide when to take is a dev policy, for example. Daily, at what time I want to take a backup? Midnight, because I cannot take it on a business hours. So midnight at 1 a.m. 30 days daily backup is fine for me because this is development workload, not critical for me. Click on add virtual machine. This is strange. Virtual machine is not listing here. There are no virtual machines that can be backed up in the vault. Why it is not even been listing? Let me sign out. And then signing in. Because my vault is in West US2. My VM also is in West US2. So it should allow. I didn't understand why. Let me cross check myself. Vault is West US2. VM also is in West US2. Region is correct, but it's strange why this VM is not getting discovered. Is someone there with the system, guys? Have you guys logged into the portal? Anyone? Any chance? Okay, that is fine. So let me check why it has been not reflecting, or it will take some time to show me the options. All right, clicking on add a virtual machine, it should show the virtual machine category. But some reasons our VM01 is not listing. I will try to check why it's not been listing and see the enabling backup and then restore methods in tomorrow's session. Yeah. Any questions, guys, till now? Okay. If there is no further questions, let's wind up the session for today and we'll come back by tomorrow, same time. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining.